Yes, that's what I meant to do. All right, there we go. All right, picture in picture. Where's that buried? Okay, sorry. Still a little fuzziest, but better than yesterday. I'd say. Thank you for being patient. If you are uh, okay, 20. Ah, all right. That's okay. That's screen sharing works best on the computer. Okay. Hmm. 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 No. Nope. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Wait, some picture. I want that. Hey, I had a better one yesterday. Sometimes things can happen wonky, but yeah, that happens. All right. Yes, I do tend to look a little better, lighting wise. Still, I think it does give a little bit of that fuzzy kind of effect. I hope I'm not echoing on YouTube. Some, all right, all right. So on YouTube, I will go to my no. All right, let's see. Hopefully that does it better. All right, that's better. Maybe I can keep. All right, let's see. Do I minimize? Hmm. All right. All right. Don't need that. No. Hmm. Hmm. Come on, where? I found it yesterday. This is ugh, annoying. Yes, I know it's annoying. I had it yesterday. All right, now where can I picture in picture? Come on, picture in picture. I can't believe I did this. It's right yesterday, getting set up and yeah. Uh, my camera resolution. My camera. Like, no. No. Visual effects. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, that does look a little better. No. No green screen. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, that does look a lot visually better. Might have to kind of use that. Hmm. Nope. 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 Oh, definitely not. It's not bad. But yeah, I'm not old timey TV show or Western or 50s TV show. But yeah, this actually enhances darkness and gets rid of that easily fluster effect. Let's see. Ooh, that actually looks really good. Balances out that. Yes, that is perfect. That is what I'll do. All right. Oh, there it is. Yes, that's what I wanted to do. All right. That's actually my set, how I wanted to set it up. Perfect. All right. All right. Now that that's done, and I can easily set that up perfectly, let's get into something else. All right. Let's get into my history, stuff I've watched. Ah, yes, perfect. Let's maybe get into some reactions, shall we? Uh, yes, of course, this is right, not much later. Yes. All right. Hmm. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. I am. If why is my camera frozen? Weird. Okay, that's better. Yes, I am. I'm not a fan of just being an annoyance to be an annoyance to someone. That is just not okay. And yes, this is about, of course, the her getting. I mean, she just wants to talk to others and get their okay. this picture in picture is getting a little. For some reason, it gets. Hmm. It's not bad. It just stutters or freeze frames. I apologize if that's the case. But yes. Now, do I feel it's okay to treat someone badly or whatever? No. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Dang it. Hmm. Now, do I feel it's okay to treat someone badly they, uh, because of how they are towards someone? No. Okay, that was. Hmm. No, I do not feel that's okay. And yes, that is a bad thing to be that way towards someone. I mean, okay, I'll try to get this back to picture in picture and to finish reacting to video, of course, stopping every so often, which, of course, a longer video is going to be annoying. I can imagine because it almost always is. There we go. All right. Because, yes, it always, 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 always is. But I hope I am sharing my screen, which I, if not, I apologize. This will just be the audio, which, okay, let's skip ahead. Yes, of course, she was. And yes, she's making a good point that anyone who is treated badly just for asking questions, just for doing research, it's wrong. In any free society, it is just completely flat out wrong. Now, if you want a country, say like how England's becoming, or how other countries that don't have the Second Amendment and don't have the freedom of speech at our cores, the freedom of speech is there because of the Second Amendment. If we did not have the Second Amendment, we would have lost freedom of speech long, long ago. That shall not be infringed, that they created, and not saying guns or specific things, but saying arms, is because they knew firearms, they knew weapons would change, would enhance, would become deadlier, yes, would improve in quote efficiency, if you want to call it that. But yes, they would change. Oh, this, this explains to me why in this video, which is on O'Keefe Media Group, as you can see in the logo, if this is, oh, it's probably my one of my cats wanting in. But yes, if as you can tell, she is filling in because of that. So yes, that explains why I was kind of surprised when I had this in my history as one to watch. Why that is. And yes, she is talking about starting to get into the attack. And I'm sorry if I'm stopping a lot. Let's skip a little. This is getting to who attacked her. Why? Because she was just there for turning point, not for not for anything malicious or anything, just to get the story out, just to not get the story out, but get to why things are this way or why things are that way, wanting to get all the information out, which, yes, is what our core of our country is based on. Is that a bad thing? No, 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 no. That's actually a very good thing. That's what should be happening. And what I feel is a terrible thing when it doesn't happen. So, yes. And, and of course, that was showing a little bit of, if the video played, I hope it did, it was showing that, yes, that did show some of that alongside her talking what happened. Because Angry Michigan Angry Man, as he's known and calls himself, did not go up and just want to question and talk. No, I'm sorry. If you have to go full tilt, flat out, not question, not talk, but go to blows on someone who only wants to question and talk and get information, that's wrong. That's all kinds of wrong. I'm sorry. If you feel that going to blows just because someone is questioning situations or thinks differently, that's wrong. Now, like I said in my previous live stream, yes, it's 20 minutes, it's short. But like I said in that one, when it comes to transgender, I'm not a fan of it for those that are not adults. and those that want to be changed from men to women to go into women's sports or women's areas. That to me is just all kinds of wrong. But if they feel uncomfortable in their body as an adult and want to change that, I felt okay, no problem. I've felt that way since the 80s. I was a kid in the 70s. I was born late 71. That's why Tom McD 71 is the 71 in the name. Own most of my social medias. Yeah, that's why. So, yes, I remember watching Geraldo, uh, Donahue, a bunch of different ones. Yes, even Sally Jesse. I know that was a girls one, but even Jerry, yes, which yes, a lot of those, and it was like, and yes, even Geraldo, and those were just okay. These people are different and odd, but it was like, okay, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. That's how it was presented. It was these are odd ones, but they feel comfortable and they are a okay as who they are. Yeah, and that's how I am. Even those groups that are like gays against groomers and all, I'm for those kind of groups. Why? Because let a kid be a kid. Let a kid grow up. If they change as they become an adult and want to change their appearance and their body to be a different uh, gender as an adult, fine. I have no problem with that. You be you if that the case. But as a kid, no. As a do that to get to become a master in women's sports because you stink as a regular player, no. Or to do that to go into women's restrooms or women's locker rooms or their private areas like that, no. I'm sorry. Call me sexist, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I'm Gen X. So does that mean anything to me? No, 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 no. So yeah, be whatever you want to be, but that's how I feel. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. Okay, getting into accountability, yada yada. Ah, okay, okay. So yes, this is uh, Brianna. Oh wait. Okay, who is it? Okay, Brianna Morello. Yada yada yada. this is yes, that was the yes, this guy right here. It, but yes, he yes. I mean, just because he disagrees or has a problem with her speaking or talking or her differing viewpoints, instead of confronting her verbally with arguments and with good factual information, he's like, no, I'm going to push around and all just because I can, which is all kinds of wrong. Let's see. Jeez, I mean, just wanting to talk to people and this is a very good point. What should really be done in a society that does justifiably punish those who do wrong to others just because they have a differing viewpoint? Would I advocate for, say, vigilante justice to, say, those that uh, treat people harshly or those that treat people in a bad manner? No. I would have them go through a court sort of system and then prison if that's the outcome. But no, give them their day in court. And if it's someone like the guy who murdered Irina Zarutska, the white blonde who was just on the train and a multiple 14-time convicted person just got out and he even said after he did, I got that white bee. Yeah, he said, I got that white bee witch with a bee. Yeah, he said that on camera. That shows you he is not someone to be a part of society. He is at least meant to be locked up for a very long time. That's the case. There are people, no matter what their skin color or their background, that are meant to be locked up. Why? Because they're a danger to others. Is this a wrong thing? No, this is just what it is. I'm if you disagree with that, I'm sorry, but that's just reality. If you let the criminals and violent people run around uh, unsu- unsupervised or with in regular society, you create more victims, more people to be injured if you just let that happen. And that is just all kinds of wrong. If you feel that I'm in the wrong, I'm sorry. But just basic common sense, basic reality should tell you that I'm not in the wrong. Would I want people just to be, oh, you harmed this person, therefore your life's over? You must be ended. No, 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 no. Prison, yes. And in extreme cases, if the Senate demands it, then yes. Potential if the person cannot see any amount of remorse or anything, then yes, I've always been for capital punishment. But in certain situations where it's not done willy nilly. So, yes, I am prison, but death penalty in more random, more selective cases, or not to have someone on death row for decades and decades and decades. That to me is wrong because that's basically now life in prison. Do I favor that over death penalty? Yes. Now, yes, as someone gets in their old age and finds out they royally screwed up as a younger individual and shows a extreme change as their old as an old person, then yeah, I could see them possibly, but that would be someone who reflected on their past and changed to be a better person, not on the outside, but on the core of what the person is. You can tell that with some people based on just being around them enough, even if you're on the surface of it, like this situation with uh, Michigan Angry Man, is that you can just tell his core is not right. He lets things go to extreme means instead of discussing things with others and evaluating his arguments. It's like with me. I've been a fan in the past with Steven Crowder's "Change My Mind" kind of segments, and the uh, Socratic method, where you take your where you talk with someone and you analyze their viewpoints and your viewpoints as well to come out to figuring out which works, yours or theirs, not being a, oh, yours are superior. And if you really watch a lot of the old segments he's done, you can see that yes, some finds a common ground with some people that are different, and in some they can't, but they can respect others' uh, points, and in some he even changes the mind of others, and some they can help enlighten him on stuff. But yes, let me get back to the video. Sorry. Yes. Hmm. Uh, William Kelly, I want to say he was one of the ones, the Minnesota church thing with Don Lemon. If I might be mistaken, but yes, this is the individual I was talking about, the stolen valor kind of guy, the one that was discharged from military service and acted kind of like acted odd. Yes, this is one of the ones that uh, mess that went into that church in Minnesota because the pastor was an ICE official. And yes, that was Don Lemon, and he was not journalizing it because he said, we're doing, if you listen to what Don Lemon said in the video, he posted himself from that very thing. You can see he's talking, we're this. Yeah, his own words gave him away in that. He could have easily called the church wanting to talk and set up a meeting with the pastor. He did not do that. Which, yeah, I'm sorry, Lemonhead. You done goofed. You completely outed yourself in 4K, you idiot. You outed yourself in 4K. So, yes, Lemonhead outed himself in 4K. Yes. So, yes, this proves that the discharged guy, Lemonhead, and the Michigan Angry Man know each other or have had some sort of communication with each other and actually met. So yeah, this is not positive for their side for their arguments. And even this image demonstrates that he is just frustrated and angry at this situation and even yeah, got that crazy ass look. Yeah. Michigan angry man. Yeah. Yeah. You crazy dude. And not in a you crazy man. No. In a something a little off kind of crazy. So yes, that was the same, very same guy as I was stating before. So yes, I recognize the situation as what it was. Mm. So instead of making a trying to get a conversation with her and trying to come to a understanding of why we feel this way, why you feel this way. No, they were like, let's get interface broadcast to her ears, practically annoy the crap out of her. And if that doesn't work, then push her around. I'm like, without saying that they were going to get to that, but yeah, that's kind of how they were going. And I'm like, geez. My apologies, Minnesota. My apologies, Minnesota angry man, not Michigan angry man. Really, we can be all kumbaya and all that. Yeah, that's not kumbaya, dude. Hey, if you want to sit down, talk, discuss, yeah, our side would love that. We didn't fight that. We'd be, hey, you want to sit down, hold a civil discussion? Yeah, very cool. We'd easily do that. We'd easily say yes. But yes, this is definitely not that kind of way. So, yes, this is terrible. Oh, okay. Now let's get to, now this is about his going undercover at Skid Row and the all the fraud he ended up noticing and the getting the basically buying votes, buying registrations to homeless people, which is a crime. Federal pound me in the peach crime. Yeah, these are not good things. So yes, I'll kind of yes, yes, yes. So this is good news. Yes, this is kind of a little shift from the situation with Savannah Hernandez and the Minnesota Angry Man situation, which, yes, is all kinds of wrong. My apologies for confusing as Michigan Angry Man, but yeah, I knew it was in that ballpark, so my bad. But yes, this is good news because it's getting that ball rolling on those federal crimes that are done multiple times, getting that as punishment where it should be due. And yeah, something that is all kinds of wrong. And if it's a website or database, that's actually a huge problem. Unless it the database, if it's meant to be used for regular good, then there needs to be some working to make sure the database is used for good and not being twisted like it is now. There needs to be some accountability, some things in place to make sure it goes back to what it was probably used for if it was used for a good reason. If not, and it's rife to the core and there's no way of changing it or fixing it, then something needs to, it either needs to be gutted or something needs to be done, which definitely something needs to be done. Yes, let's get past that. Yes. All right. But yes, that was basically all of that. All right. So, yes, that is a very good thing. That should be a very positive thing. And it should be that way. Wish I could resize this. But yes, I will get to reacting to liberal high buying and all that. All right. Uh, Stupid. All right. Hmm. Blah, 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 blah. Yada, 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 yada. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, basically, yeah, this is just all kinds of wrong. You have to be very much concerned and look after and be very vigilant when it comes to the Second Amendment. Because what is the anti-gun lobby going to do? They are going to piecemeal things as much as they can. If they can't get things right away, everything they want, then they'll go either chipping away or they'll go for the things that the kids work with, like in New York, the corking toy guns, BB guns. Yeah, BB guns. New York is corking BB guns where they cannot fire. So the younger generation will not grow up getting into guns unless they're adults go for them with beyond that step will go just ignore the BB guns and go for the next level, but teaching them in a responsible manner, which, yes, should be done for anyone who looks into guns or even remotely into guns or gun safety or even just the legality of the Second Amendment, which I'm sorry, all gun laws are infringements. And in the Second Amendment, it says, shall not be infringed. They meant anything. They didn't say, could they have said, use that differently and word it a little differently? Yes, they could have potentially worded it slightly better. But yes, the core is there. And the militia is not military. That's anybody who can be ready at a moment's notice for either defending the country or defending people from the government. That's what that is. It meant basically Minutemen. And who were Minutemen? They weren't the military. They were the people that could be ready in a minute to help defend an area, help with anything, defense, whatever, protecting someone, uh, could be ready at a moment's notice for the area where they were. That's what the Minutemen were. So yes, sorry if I get off on a tangent a lot with these videos, breaking them up and getting into things. But yes, this is what they are. Yes.
I just came in and looked in here.
All right. You know I'm streaming, right?
You what?
I'm streaming.
Okay.
All right. My apologies. I didn't want to be too mean to my wife, but I wanted to let her know that, yes. But yeah, she's a good one. All right. Now back to the video. All right. Yes, and here you go with a perfect example of things that those that are anti-gun will always go to. They'll say, "Oh, I've done this, I've done that," but yes, they will always say that and always. Beto O'Rourke did a excellent job in telling the quiet part out loud in a debate years ago. Yes, we're coming for your AR-15s. We're coming for your guns. He actually said those very words. What's up?
I'm just looking.
All right.
I'm not doing anything.
Well, hello to Wi-Fi. I mean YouTube.
Alright, just as long as you're not using my work computer.
I'm using my computer. I don't need to use yours. Yes, mine does have limitations, but hey, I'm starting off, so I don't have a Meta PC's computer yet. So yes, chat, I am, and those on the internet, I am kind of starting off. Oh, okay. Hmm. All right. I do apologize if my camera freezes a lot and you do hear my audio, but my video doesn't sync up. So, yes, I apologize for that. Okay. But yes, like I'm saying, everyone on the gun grabbing side always will say, "Oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, that." Military uh, or police or some form of using a gun in some job capacity, and then say, "But those are the exception," or whatever, yada yada yada, and then of course they're protected by secure armed security. So yes, they'll always go for the guns of everyone else that isn't them or isn't police or military or government that is under the government's purview. Now, if they're retired, yeah, they'll go after them too. But yes, that's the bad side. And that's why it is important to be very knowledgeable, very up to date, and very crucial into looking at the Second Amendment challenges and all of that sort of stuff. Ooh, yeah, that can be bad. That's really, really, I'm sorry. Assault weapons are now they're trying to critically identify the definition of that, which has never seen a light of day without using the word assault and weapon or being somewhat descriptive. It's never been a accurate definition of a firearm. It's been, oh, it looks scary. That's your assault weapon. No, that's just all kinds of wrong. Yeah, that's all kinds of wrong. Victory, and let's just cover up that victory because victory, nah, that is no victory. That's a bastardization of the Second Amendment and a completely, basically gutting of it if you, for any gun law in that regard. Now, if you pushing for training not to be mandatory, but to be, say, get a discount or something, or get something help for more and more people get training and regular being able to train with those firearms at regular basis, then yeah, that would be a positive thing. But no, all the gun grabbers never push for that or push for it being mandatory and being at the expense or at the detriment for law abiding citizens and to be something they have to do or expenses they have to have. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very bad thing. If most of them, I'm not a huge gun aficionado, but yes, if most of them have to be in a certain amount, or then you severely limit and you make it to where people have to redesign things for lower amounts of ammo. And the thing is, are criminals going to follow any gun law? No, criminals never follow laws. I'm sorry. That's the thing the gun grabbers don't understand. And the rest of us do completely. We regularly understand it. Am I heavily knowledgeable like Colleen Noir or others? No. Am I a big fan of his work? Yes. Do I keep up to date with his stuff? Yes. Do I regularly share his videos on multiple social media apps? Facebook, Twitter, X, MeWe, Minds, Getter, uh, Tumblr, and True Social? Yes. If I'm on those sites, I share some of his. I share some of uh, Don't Walk Run uh, production stuff. I share regularly, as you'll see, all of Liberal Hive Mind's videos, all of them. So yes, this is something I've done for a few years on a regular basis, especially with Liberal Hive Minds, which I'll react to his videos in a little bit. So yes, this is something that I am into and that I do on a regular basis. Excuse me. But yes, that's the thing is Liberal Hive Mind is my go-to for yes, pretty much everything. And I have saved a lot of his memes of the day with slight editing the photos. As you'll probably see in a little bit, I'll get you, if you're not up to snuff on Liberal High, I will get you that. And yes, the previous one that I skipped around on was O'Keefe Media Group. And this one is, of course, Coley Noir, which I am a fan of. And I'm stopping because I don't want to get copyright struck. And I am also a fan and respect their works. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so what's this say? This does not mean a weapon that has uh, a removable, that has a not. What they mean by fixed, they mean by a one with a non-removable uh, magazine, is my understanding, and that a removing the word fix is basically okay. Anyone that can have a magazine of more than 15 rounds or 15 rounds or more, boom, assault rifle, assault firearm. I'm like, really? You're going with that because what are criminals gonna do? They ain't gonna play by that rule. They ain't gonna give crap. But what is it gonna do for law abiding citizens? Hurt them. Anyone with a extra, even passing knowledge of the Second Amendment in this will know that it is a unconstitutional. I mean, that's the thing. Gun grabbers don't understand what is unconstitutional anymore. And doing that, you put massive amount of workloads of additional stuff once it gets to the Supreme Court. If it gets to that. And if not, then it can be, oh, this is a states' right thing. And if it's a state right thing, then that means those citizens in those states are basically going to be prey for criminals because criminals are not going to abide by any of those things. That's the thing. Criminals never abide by rules and guidelines. Ooh, she wanted to do it last moment, last thing. So yes, people be like, whoa, wait, this was done dead of night? Yeah, that's the kind of thing she potentially wanted to do. Why? Because it screams massive unconstitutional. I'm sorry, you can't make this not make sense. I mean, this is, you can't make it make sense because it is massively unconstitutional. Because that's the thing, gun laws are infringements. You just read the Second Amendment and you know shall not be infringed. They said that specifically so they can say you don't mess with the Second Amendment, you don't make laws messing with it, you don't make anything that infringes the Second Amendment. That's why they could they have maybe tweaked the wording of that a little bit to be to basically tell anyone never, ever, ever don't make any laws that infringe on this amendment. They could have said any law that infringes on this amendment is unconstitutional. Period. They could have said it like that, but you have to take the language of how they were speaking back then to translate it a little to now. And yes, how was the wording kind of a little squirrely maybe for modern day? Yes, I will say that. But yes, it is easily depictable with modern, with just a little common sense. Yeah, that's wrong, what I was saying, because that's last minute before anyone can rebuttal, say anything. That's doing it at the very dead end before anything can happen. And this is just that the NRA saying, no, this is all kinds of wrong. Yep, yep, yep. This is what I'm saying. Oh, damn. That should tell you everything. They are saying, yeah, we gonna, yeah, that is just telling her you done effed up. That should be telling anyone, don't mess with the Second Amendment. I'm sorry. If you want certain areas to be, quote, gun free, you can put up signs and all that. Yes, it might make you feel better. It might make things a little somewhat nicer, but I'm sorry, the truth is when you put up a sign and you say gun free zone or whatever, you're basically telling anyone who's going to do harm this is a soft target. And yes, I know some areas, whatever, but yeah, the truth is if you have gun free zones or gun free areas, that's a soft target, which I grew up with in schools. We had resource officers, which, yes, were police there in case something was going wrong. And even my high school did a exercise with a good police officer who was pretending to hijack a school bus. I was one of the people on that bus. And going through an exercise to demonstrate that. I was even saw my picture in the Birmingham newspaper. Yeah, in Birmingham, Alabama, and this was back in like the 90s, early 90s, even 89, 90s, somewhere around there. I was even just doing my work outside at the high school and got my picture taken in the newspaper as well. So, yes, there is stuff of myself. I want to say the bus exercise, the police exercise, was probably early 90s, maybe 91, 92 sort of range. But yes, or 1990. But yes, it was, I want to say it was around 91. Yes. But yeah, that's the thing. I've learned and been around uh, firearms as well. Now, am I heavily or have a gun wall like Colleen Noir? I will not say because that is getting personable and I will not get into any security type aspects, information, or personable sort of nature like that. Now, will I answer any questions to a police officer if they come to? I will question them as why is they need to know and what is this regarding, and I seek a lawyer in that regard because I'm sorry, my personal defense and what I have or don't have. Now, if I that's between me and what's immediately in my uh, immediately my family. Will I defend my family if need be? Yeah. Will I defend myself if need be? Yes. Will I give all the secrets about what I have or don't have or this or that or all that mess? No. But that's me. And yes, I am a lot on similar beliefs as Colleen Noir. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent there. I need to quit doing that like I do with reacting these videos. But yes, I'm kind of new at this and need to keep my comments brief. Okay, now that is a good line. That is a good line. And that is perfect for describing what she did. Yeah, which, yeah, that was a perfect analogy of her mess. Exactly, exactly. Just because you grew up a certain way doesn't give you the right to take other one's rights away. Exactly, exactly. That is similar to what I was saying. Just because you had a job where a firearm was required and provided or potentially provided by the government does not mean that once that job ends, that part of the requirements for a job or that aspect of a job goes with it. That means, so what? You had a firearm, big whoop, and you were legally meant to have it for that job. Okay? Exactly, exactly. This is what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. This a lot what I'm saying about just being a civilian and being potential of you don't know when danger will happen. And those that have worked with guns and trained with them know to keep their head on a swivel and know that things can go bad easily, which is not a good thing. But yes, that is the sort of setup. Exactly. That's the thing. If you're an officer, if you're federal, if you're this or that, military, whatever, you know details of what is happening or what is going to go on before you get there. If you're a civilian, you don't have that additional intel, you don't have that additional equipment unless you have it at your place of where you are. You just have, like you were saying, broken glass and just, yeah, you don't have that intel of what's happening. You just have the in the moment. Exactly. Because that's the thing. Criminals, they can be numerous potentially. And if you're limited to 15 rounds, you're potentially screwed because some cops have dealt with where they've had to shoot one person multiple times. And this would be a person maybe with a knife or something. Those that are familiar with like Donut Operator, Officer Daniels, and all, especially off of Pepperbox or Angry Cops, know of these sort of things. And yes, I'm a little aware of Pepperbox, but I'm not a subscriber, all that. But yes, and the reason they have Pepperbox is because they have that to be censor free, so you should see these shootings and all they deal with or others in law enforcement have dealt with. You don't see the blurring of areas or the quack sounds for like donut operator for guns firing. You see everything from what I've been informed by angry cops, by ones like himself. And yes, I am a fan of Angry Cops, and yes, those who know of him know of This Old Crack House and Basement Jesus. And yes, if you're a fan or you think of checking him out, then yes, you'll find out if you check the This Old Crack House playlist, I think it is, he has. But I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. I need to focus on Colin Noir. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Anyone who wants to take your guns away in government, they almost always have armed security. And yet, they want to take away guns from law abiding citizens that don't have that armed security layer. Now, if they were willing to give up their armed security and still take away guns, I'd be willing to at least hear their arguments with because it would have merit. It would have actual consequences because they would be putting themselves in the same sort of danger or in the same sort of jeopardy as they want to put others. But they never ever will. Yes, this is what I'm saying. They will always take that one information, clump all that numbers together to get their inflated stats, not break it down to a more in-depth amount of information, which gives you a full picture. Yeah, that's the thing is he's making the point that I was making is yes, they lump things in there just to make the numbers higher, which is like the old saying, cooking the books to inflate numbers. Yeah. And these little clips where he's got the guns are common sense to a shirt on, that's from a older video, which he smartly uses his own old points to back up what he's saying because he brings the receipts, which I love people on the internet who can do that, on YouTube who can do that. So yes, he is saying information about all previous years. Oh, see, this is a he used that shows you that was a older clip part, but yes, that was saying that yes, during yes the plant scamdemic, the pandemic, that was the case. Is it was a older time, a older situation, and yes, that is definitely a bad thing. Yeah, that's the thing is anyone that's supposedly former law enforcement, former federal, who is in government now and using that kind of stuff, they know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to chip away at the Second Amendment. And I'm sorry, that is just all kinds of wrong. The founders would have been pissed. So, yeah, damn. But yeah, that is, I'm sorry, that, yeah, Virginia's flag. Uh, wow. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, he's right. Virginia's flag goes hard. Yeah. No way. A regulated militia composed of a body of the people trained to arms is proper and state natural and safe defense of a free state. Yeah, that practically is this is probably a better written version of what the Second Amendment should have been, in my opinion. That's yeah, I can agree that the founders would have been, what the hell? You voted for this crazy, voted for this woman? Yeah, they'd be like, what the crap? You voted for this woman? Yeah, they would be, yeah. His wording fits how it would have fit back in the early days of the founding of the country. Ooh, yeah, as they're Democrat controlled, then yeah, that would mean all of the people who pass it would have to deal with all their constituents being pissed. So yeah, I'm saying if you vote for it, if you're in the legislature of Virginia and you vote for it, then you should have to meet with every one of your constituents about what you did to their Second Amendment. That should be what you have to do, in my personal opinion. Oh, yeah. So she gets the gun grabber stuff, but gets to avoid the spotlight of it. Oh, that is that is diabolically evil. I'm sorry, that is just diabolically evil. Yeah, but it's always that but. Yeah. And I'm sorry, common sense, responsible gun owners, yada yada yada. When they never go, hey, what did the founders mean by shall not be infringed? It means any gun laws is an infringement. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Constitution has, these are inalienable rights that the government cannot take. It even states these are natural, inalienable rights. It talks about in the Constitution, and that's the thing, shall not be infringed. That's the thing. But it is not pushed as that. That's the trouble. Yes, and of course he does have live hats, drinks, hats, tumblers, drinkware, hoodies, t-shirts, you name it. A lot of good merch that is pro Second Amendment. He's even had the keep your the tactical state specific shirt for all 50 states. And yes, this has been something he's done for years. Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing is, yeah, that's the messed up thing is if you're making the Second Amendment, which was at core of your state's history, not a core of your history, then yes, something's a little off. That's exactly what I was saying earlier is you if you're in Virginia, you need to keep abreast of who your legislators are, who those in the state vote for it. If they vote for it, oh, let them know you are pissed. If you're in Virginia and you want this to be passed, then yeah, is this the right country for you? Because that is something that's just all kinds of wrong, because it's basically will lead us to what England's becoming now, where you can get arrested for a gamer tag or a something you go by online or a meme or something asininely stupid. And yes, things people can get arrested for in England are free speech. And why do they have get arrested free speech? They don't have a Second Amendment. We have a Second Amendment. That's why they have not been able to chip away at the free speech. Have people in government tried to chip away at Second Amendment? I mean, First Amendment for and censor it? Yes, even companies have. That's why some online stuff has had trouble before. And why people got in trouble, say, with Facebook stuff past few years and all. And why even during the scamdemic pandemic, people got in trouble for questioning that. Or say the Hunter Biden laptop in the uh, 2020 campaign. Yeah, that was yeah, that was a messed up time. And why before Musk bought Twitter and changed it to X, yeah, you had to be careful what you said on there if you did not toe the lefty line. And you think I'm joking? No. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Share the video, yada yada yada. Blah 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 blah. Not interested. All right. So yes, I could go right into trying to play a game right now, or I could go into reacting to uh, liberal hive minds videos, which I'm actually thinking I might do that. Yeah, yes, this is. And yes, uh, he does create these, uh, record them the day before. So this is from Tuesday's, the three did today, released today. But yes, and fivemind.com is him and a few others created for conservative memes. And he always does one meme usually per video at the start. Yeah, that is funny. Biden and Spock, and Spock's doing, oh my Mel. Those that are old school Star Trek fans or no Trekkies know of Spock's mind meld ability, and they can basically read minds in that regard. But yes, All right. And yes, of course, he always does that getting into stuff. And that's always kind of how his intros are. But yes, I am a big fan of. Ooh. Hmm. So, yes, this is getting into, I believe, because China did work with Iran in some, and Iran was a part of works. Yeah, I'll just let the video kind of. Ooh, Beijing did not. So sending stuff to, yeah, Saudi. Ooh. Ah, ha, ha. So that means that, yeah, China would, yeah, be on the back foot dealing with Saudi, U.S., Middle East, and yeah, that's not good for China. Oh, that's gotta be painful for China. Oh, that is just so beautiful. It just means that China wanted to be all buddy buddy and nice, and yeah, they just got trounced. Ooh, that means they have to deal with they have to deal with they have to deal with basically dealing with Trump and dealing with a U.S. Saudi focused Middle East. Yeah, that leaves China kind of. And they used to be one of the big dogs because they kind of manipulate their currency and also they could get things beneficial to them, which do I fault that? No, because past past administrations and all, and I'm going back decades and decades, weren't tough on them and weren't playing even kilter. They were letting China run the tables on us, basically, figuratively speaking, to where things were not good. Mm. Oh, yeah, the whole thing with Iran's boats and all, yeah, if they have anything, is going to be boats. pathetic at this point because their navy is at the bottom of the sea, is at the bottom of the water there. They get the bottom half, like Pegs have said, like memes about Pegs have, or he actually said is, yeah, Iran can have the bottom half. Hmm. That's huge news because Pakistan, a country that, yes, is in that area, but is not going, hey, America bad, and going, yeah, that means that a lot of the Middle East is going, yeah, Iran, you done effed up. And that's not from just a few countries in the world, that's from all of Iran's neighbors. Hmm. So this is good news. Huh. I didn't know that part. Yeah, but that's very good news. That's huge news because, like I'm saying, because that's the thing. The first, when it first happened, started off, Iran quickly sent out just everything they could to all over and attacked all their neighbors, and that pissed them off. So, yeah, this is game changing compared to even last decade or even since I've been born. That's massive news, and that's all thanks to Trump. Is he is changing things big time. Wow, that is a lot. Yeah, that means that, huh, that is something because they're trying to block that little setup. So, yeah, people are pissed at Iran. Not just one country, but they're pissing off everybody. And they're not going, duh. And yeah, now China's sending stuff to Saudi? Wow. Yeah, that's the thing, is they can't do business because they close it that hurts them as well. But even their partners that are supposed to be partners with them are going, yeah, we ain't play with you no more. Yeah, China's basically on, yeah, you done effed up. Whoa, they'll have to start shutting off wells? Man, this is really hurting them. They think they have the power and they don't have jack squat. They're behind the eight ball big time. So, yeah. And the Iranian people are wanting a regime change. They're wanting back to Persia, which was what they were when I was a real little kid. Yes, I was born late 71. So, yes, was I very knowledgeable about how Persia was at the time? No. But yeah. Oh, damn. If their economy is oil and Persian rugs, then yeah, blocking the strait is detrimental to them. If their main cash is that oil moving, yeah, this is not hurting everyone else. It's pissing everyone else off, but dramatically harming them. That's the thing they don't get. They're being so idiotic about it. Yeah, that's the thing. Is if they're just being this way and it's being detrimental to them, that's like I was saying, dumb, 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 dumb. Of course. Wow. So I did not know they were dependent on energy from Gulf of Persia, but yes, that is a big thing, and that means that yeah, it's hurting Iran and it's hurting anyone that depends on stuff from them. If that's the case, yeah, it's going to be detrimental to them. Ooh, that is bad. And if that messes with China, they going to be pissed. And I'm sorry, is if that's your buddy and you need what they got and they not letting you get that, what you need, if China needs that oil and Iran's going, nuh then yeah, China ain't gonna play nice with Iran. They might not publicly admit it, but yeah, they ain't gonna play nice. Mm. Yeah, sorry, I tend to let it go there. But yeah, that's what I was saying is, yeah, if they're dependent on Iran and Iran's being blocking it, then yeah, China ain't gonna be too thrilled. Mhm. That's the thing, like I'm saying, is that's the reason I like liberal high mind is he's whoa, Lebanon is playing peace talks with Israel? Okay, that in itself is huge. That's huge news. That in itself is huge news because that means a lot of tensions that have happened and been going on for decades and decades could be going bye bye thanks to a lot of what Trump is doing. If you hate the guy, fine, but you can't deny the fact, the results of what's happening. And if you're not pleased with it currently or whatever, give it time and look at from after effect. Say, look at how Venezuela's changed and how, yeah, give things time from what he's doing, and you'll see how things have changed for the better of those areas. That's huge news, massively huge news. That means that, yes, these things can be done. Wow. That I would have never, decades ago, would have thought Israel and Lebanon would have been at on very peaceful terms like this. No, I would have never thought of that, especially not 80s or 90s. It 2000s, no, but wow, 2026, man, this is a year. Hmm. Yeah, this is something big. I mean, yeah, that's the thing is when a main core of your terrorist controlled center is being just eroding financially and all that and can't sustain itself, it just works from the head down. And Iran's regime, old regime, was that head, and it's going away, which is just so freaking wild. Wow, that is just wild. I did not know you'd have to cap because you can't store it. But yeah, that's huge. That means, yeah, they'd have all this they could. sell and all, but yeah, when you're blocking the strait and not making it where your stuff can make you money, I mean, geez, this is just all kind of wild. Hmm. That's what I was getting at and saying because, yeah, when you basically make what you have that you can sell and closing off the traffic to be able to sell that, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot figuratively. So if they're refusing to test the U.S. military, they know that if they try that, they'll be in crap. So yeah, yeah, that in itself tells you that they're kind of backed into proverbial corner. Yep. Yeah, I could have told, and I think I've told people, or I could have told people that, or may have told people that. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like the whole thing about Trump is once you get to know him or get to analyze his actions, you see he's a troll master. He will troll anyone. I mean, the whole thing I was had problems with him, say like the Epstein files, a little off topic, but I how he handled that. But then I noticed as it went on, he kind of trolled the Democrats to get them to want to release the files, which before at certain points they didn't want to release the files. But he got to calling it a hoax and pushing away from it to make it seem like it wasn't anything, which played the them to want to release those files. And yes, some of the blocking out some names and stuff were kind of wrong, and how that was handled by Bondi was wrong. But yeah, she was not a good choice. I could see that during the whole Bindergate situation. But get back on topic. Yeah, 47 years of that, and President 47 is changing that whole area. I mean, you gotta get around the irony of just that bit of coincidence is kind of wild. Yeah, that's the thing is because of this situation, a lot of oil tankers have been going to the Gulf Coast where I am. Yeah, have been going to, yeah, the Gulf of America because, hey, and what do we have a lot of? Oil. We have a massive amount of U.S. crude. So, yeah, that shows you just how much of a boss leader he is. Yeah, they'd be like, cancer lives matter, or cancer matters, or illnesses matter, or some, they'd be some stupid thing like that. Yeah, that's the thing. And that's been kind of mentioned since 2016, I believe. Yep, 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 yep. I wouldn't doubt that. I'd say you're doing all right. But yes, if he can pull this off the way it's going, it'll be it'll be something to use to teach people how to deal with foreign policy. It will be like the gold standard of how to deal with foreign policy in this regard. I mean, that is just so, and because of liberal Haban's LH's commentary, I think he's doing all right. I've been a fan for years, and yeah, yep. No, I think you'll be. I think we'll be vindicated. But yeah, it depends on who writes the history. So yes, yep, that's exactly what. Exactly, exactly. Oh wow. All right. Oh, okay. But yes, that's he actually already has resigned. So this shows you that yes, he recorded this prior to that information coming out about Fartwell resigning. But yes, I call him that because, and he got that name because of the video where he's talking about Trump on a news thing, and he toots on it, and yes, he got that nickname a little bit from that. Yes, yes. So yeah, it is what it is. Uh, but wow, I've been going for 2 hours. I will be back briefly. Yes, I will return briefly. So let's see. How do I how do I pause or go to my brand image or something? Uh, uh, no, not removed from stage. Uh, okay, why is that? Hmm. Ah, okay. Right. Uh, hmm. Okay, there we go. Mm, mm, keys. Uh, shucks. No. Uh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Hmm. Okay. Ah, yes, much better. All right. Hmm. No, don't want to. Hmm. Okay. I'll be back briefly. Sorry. My my apologies. I'm back. Hmm, all right. Hmm, all right. Hmm, there we go. Hmm, ah, hmm, Okay, so I'm not too familiar, but it sounds like Ruben Gallego and Eric Swalwell were basically close friends and all, and basically worked well with each other. So supposedly, or maybe news stuff. Mm, mm. Yes, and of course, it's always, as I was saying, that is liberal hat. LH is kind of intro sort of thing. And yes, he's trying to follow YouTube's guidelines and all, and not show inappropriate stuff, which I completely agree with. Oh yes. Oh, be back in. Yeah, all right. Hmm. Yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yes, as you can tell, he yes, of course you can tell he blurred a lot of this stuff because he had to. Same with angry cops, donut operator. They will blur a lot of areas that are inappropriate or that to fit to more of people, and I respect that. You don't want to age restrict or restrict your stuff, and I can respect that. Hmm. Okay, so could he be in the background of that image or some of that video? Maybe, but as of course, liberal Muhammad has to blur enough of it. So yes, he because he's in that blurred part or that you can't really tell from what he's showing. But yes, he has to do that because hey, you want to make it more appropriate to more and more people. So you'd have to see the unblurred video to kind of try to figure out if it is him. And of course, he is smartly trying to say, no, no, that wasn't me, that wasn't me. Which, okay, for legal reasons, I get why he's saying that. And do I blame him on that? No. That's trying to be smart legally and all that. But if it turns out it actually is him trying to deny, will be more detrimental. That hesitation and that the jitteriness kind of seems very sus, very suspicious. So, could it have actually been him in the video? Maybe. If it is, and he's doing that denying routine, I can see that playing potentially to a court. But yes, that could end up biting him in the ass if it is him in the video. If it is, and he came forward and cooperated big time, then that could lead big time to him positively. But yes, if it is him in the video, then yeah, that could be bad. But if it legitimately isn't him as a look-alike, then yeah, that could also. But having it look someone a lot like him, and then him kind of his actions, little sus, a little sus. So he has been with him on trips and stuff. Hmm, that's intriguing. Hmm. Yeah, he denies, but he seems a little sus. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He seems sus. Ah, dang it. Wait it. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. is he's your close friend and he's doing all these things and you're not having at least suspicions of this? Yeah, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't. He seems sus. I can't say definitively one way or the other, but yeah, he seems sus. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Yep, yep, yep. Huh. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's very sus. That's very sus. Galago, that's very sus. That's very, very, very sus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm? Huh. Yeah, that is interesting. That is sus. Nope, nope, nope. Do that. What? Oh, was that it? Oh, that was it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is sus. Let me just put it that way. It is sus. Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure. Oh, shoot. Uh, I'm sorry. The footage is. Oh, shoot. Okay. I'm sorry. The footage is not being. Is not. The screen's not sharing. I've been meaning to share my screen, but I guess I have not been doing that. No, not that. Not that. Okay, what is it? What is that? Share screen. Emote. Video clips. Wait, maybe that's. No. Timer, no, no. Oh, no. 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 Mm. Mm. I am sorry that's kind of been the. I have meant to share the screen, and that's not been doing that. All right. So effects. What is it? What is that about share screen? No, not that. My camera, yada yada. Visual effects. Mm, no. Dang it. I have been meaning to share what I've been talking about and not just going all willy nilly like I had been. Dang it. Yeah, I will need to work on that. Oh. Ah ha ha ha. Yes. Okay, let's see if this will work. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, that's doing that. Ah, okay, maybe that'll do it. Ah, perfect, perfect. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. Okay, okay. My bad. Yes. All right. Oh, dang it.
Complete. And I want to take some time here to kind of break down this ideology and why it's so absolutely idiotic. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so what inspired this video is actually this clip from Hillary Clinton. And I think that kind of speaks for itself considering what I was just saying. But she was just going on explaining how and why she believes that Donald Trump is the most corrupt president of all time. And something really struck me as odd.
Cannot have affordability if you don't have accountability. And accountability starts with reining in the corruption in this White House. Because the corruption is not just the amounts of, money that, Trump and his family are shoveling in. It's also about who they favor, who they give benefits to, often at the cost of middle-class families and working people. So let's focus on affordability, but let's also focus on accountability. One of the real unfortunate...
Okay, I think I'm... Okay, yes, yes, this is how I wanted to do it. Yes, yes, this is how... Oh, okay.
unfortunate mistakes of the Biden administration is they didn't, really focus on the accountability measure. Well, now there is more than enough to look at and get people to understand the connection between their lives and the enrichment of the Trump family and the Trump cronies. Every single thing they do has a transactional cost.
Huh. So, yeah, she hasn't disappeared from, she's making
That
herself.
benefits them.
It's a very interesting definition of corruption. She's essentially making the argument that Trump giving benefits to the rich, and I guess in the sense, the way you could perceive those benefits being is tax cuts, an easier business environment, an ability to make profits at the highest level. She describes that as corruption. And I'm sitting here scratching my head saying, how is that corruption? How is it corrupt to basically say, and the left always suggests as if Trump does everything in relation to billions.
Oh man, how is that corruption? That is funny. She is known for corruption and for numerous people involved in the Clinton Foundation just dying mysteriously.
Billionaires alone, and isolates them in terms of his policy decisions to only benefit them. But as we know, the tax cuts, the easing of regulations, the business incentivization, it applies to everyone, not just the rich.
Yes, that's the thing. In his first term, the tax cuts benefited everyone, not just the rich, which they claim it was only the rich. No, it was everyone across the board. That's like presenting something as affects everybody and not going into the details of. It's like the Affordable Care Act, the Never Affordable Care Act, or the what was that? Another sorry bill, I forget the name of it, which did the exact opposite thing it was did during Biden's term. Oh, we'll pass the blah 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 act. It was the exact opposite of what it was titled. That's when you have to pay attention with government, both sides. You cannot gauge things specifically. Now, the left, everything, if it's from the left, read the fine print and really do your research on it, because a lot of times it'll be the exact opposite of what it's titled. The right, yeah, you might get some bad actors on the right, but for the most part, you don't get all bad actors on the right like you do the left.
Rich, but to make the argument that government doing less, government allowing the rich to keep the money that they earn, that they produce, that they created jobs and productivity through, that is somehow inherently corrupt, it just seems frankly evil and also completely backwards. The argument is that if you don't use government to isolate the most productive and successful people in the country, to make their lives
that's the thing. If you make government to where it only benefits or supposedly benefits yada yada, then you're only going to see potentially that, or you're only going to look for potentially that, which a lot of times it's not. It's like the whole stuff with Second Amendment is you can't pick and choose what sort of stuff a law-abiding citizen can use. That completely goes against the Second Amendment. Completely. And the same stuff with about the rich or their funding. I mean, a lot of times with even food stores, they have narrow freaking margins. Probably the narrowest margins of any business. And if you're acting like they're ripping people off, You've got to be such morons. Now, yes, if you subsidize candy and all this junk food, and they have that narrow margin, but that's a profit for them, then yes, they're going to have to change if you say, no, we will not subsidize junk food or unhealthy foods. And a lot of those players that say, oh, this is blah, blah, blah. No, it's crap. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic on a video that Run Don't Walk production did about the snap. About SNAP benefits.
Living hell to have your hand in their back pockets, stealing money out of their freaking wallets. If you don't do everything in your power to hurt their ability to earn profits and reap the rewards of those profits, then that somehow makes you corrupt. This is backwards. This is literal communist thinking, and this is...
Yep. Because I'm sorry, if you're trying to dictate how those that help create jobs and make wealth for others, or have some setup to where others can rise themselves through jobs or through other means, then you're pretty much detrimenting society as a whole. And same way I'm trying to become a streamer, if I'm detrimented by platform or by this or that, then that means I have to either go to another platform, or if I'm detrimented by not being able to put myself out there and try to encourage that, then that's going to be detrimental.
What is now so pervasive in terms of, left-wing rhetoric. And it's gotten to the point where even Hillary Clinton's saying this stuff. And, Democrats didn't used to be like this. Democrats used to be more corporate Democrat. While they were more in favor of social programs for the most part, the ideology wasn't this far left. They still believed in free enterprise and free trade, low taxes, a limited government. But now the mere idea of not having an overburdensome, totally cumbersome government, a massive police and regulatory state, they define that as essentially corrupt, which is totally backwards, because what they're describing as corrupt is essentially freedom. Freedom to work, to earn, to be successful, to grow your business, to reap the rewards of having...
Exactly. If you stifle people to be able to, who want to create jobs and companies for others to work with, like, say, if I wanted to make a streaming company, or do something, say, like Geeks and Get Plus Gamers do, then I'd have to employ people. I'd have to have salary, have to have this, have to have that. And if I'm stifled in that regard, like D-Day Cobra does, if he was stifled in creating that, then that would mean he wouldn't be able to get where he is, and he wouldn't be able to become what he is. So yes, this is a big thing. So yes, she's kind of full of it.
Having a good idea and executing properly on that idea. And their solution is what's really backwards. That's corruption, they say. And anti-corruption is taking money from those people and putting it in the hands of useless frickin' bureaucrats who then essentially piss it down the drain and waste it. They claim that freedom is corrupt and corruption is somehow anti-corruption. Give us your...
Yeah, this is the thing. If those that are saying, hey, this is good, this is not, but what is good is not what they're saying it is, and vice versa, then yeah, this is twisting words and twisting actual reality.
Your money so we could send it to the Somalis so they can buy Rolls Royces and build luxury apartment complexes across impoverished African nations. It is...
Yeah, this goes into the whole Minnesota fraud, Somali fraud, is if you're taking from taxpayers who earn their money, and you're saying, oh, no, blah, 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 and using fraud and everything, and or money laundering basically is basically what I feel the whole. Let me be clear, what I feel is happening with places like California, Minnesota is basically money laundering, and what happened with Biden and the whole 10% to the big guy kind of mess. Yeah, so yeah, do I feel a lot of government politicians get corrupt or are corrupt? Yes. Are there some good ones that have to deal with those that they either know is corrupt or have to kind of deal with that whole mess? Yes.
Patently insane. It's backwards, it's economically illiterate, and it just goes to show how these people have lost the frickin' plot. And it's everywhere you see. This post also came up on my timeline. This is from Elizabeth Warren. She writes this: a wealth tax on the top 0.15% of the richest families would generate $6.2 trillion in revenue. That could pay for universal health care, millions of new homes, slashing child poverty.
Oh, God, universal health care. That's a crock of crap. I'm sorry. They've been pushing that for decades. I mean, universal health care is a crock.
Medicare for people age 55 plus, universal paid leave, tuition-free community college, and more. And again, it just goes to show how Democrats have fully embraced punitive taxation policies, targeting.
And a lot of these policies are just taxes upon taxes on taxes and boondoggles. You got, I'm not saying not some of those aren't potentially good ideas at their core, but it's how those things are managed and all this. Now, universal, when you say something like that, that's a load of crap. Because that says, oh, every kid needs this, every person needs this, every person needs that. No, everyone's health is different. And you've got to understand that. I grew up in a family of doctors in various fields. My 3 siblings went in various medical fields. Blood guts, not me. So it wasn't me. My father, rest his soul, was an endocrinologist. My mother, dietitian, retired dietitian now. My brother, vascular surgeon. My older sister, I forget what she did. And my younger sister, I think she was speech pathology. But yeah, I've had ones in numerous medical fields. Plus, I think I had an close aunt who pediatrician. So I've had numerous medical field knowledge growing up. Plus, my father was Army Reserves and was either Vietnam or Korea. I'm not sure which, but he was stateside because he was medical. So yes, I am knowledgeable about military. I also did Air Force Junior ROTC all 4 years of high school. So I'm knowledgeable about military. I'm knowledgeable about medical. So yes. Although I will admit this stream has gone on kind of long, so I might just tomorrow night. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow night, but yes, I might do a stream sometime, or maybe this weekend, like Saturday morning or something, gaming. I don't know, but yes, I've let this stream go on long. My apologies. When I do critique videos, I'll try to keep it more brief.
People based on their level of wealth, but essentially the argument that she's making here is that the money belongs in the hands of corrupt government bureaucrats, that they can spend the money better than the free market. But we know that that's not.
No, government is notoriously bad at being able to spend money. Yes, so government is horrendously bad. I'd like to also apologize for not showing the videos on the previous videos, but having the audio play. I'm still new at streaming, so give me a little bit of a break. I'm kind of working on this.
Not true. Zoran Mamdani is proving it right now in real time, allocating initially $70 million to community-run grocery stores, free groceries as he calls them, state-run grocery shops, literal like Soviet Union crap, and now he's talking about
Yeah, and the first one cost 30 million, nearly half of the budget. Yeah, that's bad. It proves that the same way it's been tried in other cities and has failed tremendously terrible. So yes, it will not work no matter how many times people try that.
the first store costing $30 million to put up. And it gets even worse as I just read this first store is apparently slated to open in 2029. $30 million in a 3-year process.
No, wait. 2029 is not going to open up till 2029? Oh, man. That is bad. That is terribly bad.
To open a single store because obviously they have to create this massive, bloated, inefficient bureaucracy behind it. No, the money is better off in people's pockets. It's better off in the top 0.15%'s hands because, well, for the most part, it's not just, money that they're sitting on like Scrooge McFrickin' Duck, a giant pot of gold. No, it's money that's being invested. It's money that's paying property taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. The private sector can handle money massively better than the public sector because the private sector has to make money. They can't be like the public sector can always have money thrown at it to try to make something work. The private sector can't have that. So real business has to earn money. Public sector government doesn't have to have that.
Paying staff that's maintaining their properties. It's money that's being invested in the markets and a lot of the blue chip stocks, ETFs, index funds, and a lot of the other money is going to high risk venture capital and startups. All that free flowing capital is the reason why America is leading the world in terms of technology development, in terms of tech startups. It's the reason.
Exactly. But that's the thing. If government doesn't have to have a bottom line and make a, and that's the messed up thing of what government has become is that it should be making itself fiscally responsible, but it doesn't. And that's the messed up thing.
And why the EU hasn't done a thing in 50 years in terms of creating innovative technologies. Meanwhile, America has Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook Meta, SpaceX. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. NVIDIA. The money is already well served. It's better in the hands of the private sector. It's better for everyone, by the way. But they're telling you, no, that's inherently corrupt and the money should be in the hands.
Yeah, and they're full of it in that regard. Because as he was just demonstrating, that's the thing. Business has to make a profit. And now, don't get me wrong, there are some businesses that completely get ideologues and all that where they are stupid. Disney for how, and others how they aren't paying attention can piss money away, which is basically how government is. So yeah, there are some doofuses in the private sector as well, but yeah.
Hands of Elizabeth Warren so she could allocate it, and that would make everybody's life better. But this is totally absurd. Just look north of the border. Look.
So she can allocate it. Yeah, government don't know how to make things profitable. They are morons when it comes to money. They're basically the kid that, hey, you say, here, Go use it wisely. They'd piss away that money in a New York minute. I mean, jeez.
Look at Europe. All of these nations that have went full-on frickin' socialist, essentially. They don't have the same standard of living. They're all going through cost of living crises. You're better off in evil, capitalist, corrupt America. Yeah, well, they got it backwards. America's not corrupt. America is the freest and most prosperous land on earth, precisely because it has a history of enabling private ownership and enterprise, not over-regulating.
Exactly. That's the thing. You look at other countries that don't have that private aspect, as he was talking about, then a lot of those countries depend on other countries.
And overtaxing their population into absolute oblivion, making it impossible to properly invest and spearhead forward increasing standard of living across the board, not just for America.
Yes, you look at countries that have high taxes and they're having to deal with either other countries propping them up or they have other problems as well.
Americans, by the way, but for everybody. The entire world benefits on the back of American industrialism and innovation. But the left wing tells you no. It's really a danger.
Yes, he is exactly right. That's the thing, is America's innovations, and you don't go to, say, China or Russia or Canada for innovations in medicine or technology. Japan, you might. Asian countries, some of them, yeah, because we kind of let that go 80 years ago. 58 years ago, we kind of let that slip to the Asian countries. But yes, for a lot of other innovations, yeah, America is it. Even technology is going to be the thing even more now.
Situation. You know what? It's a slow path. It's already happening, by the way. You know, I'm saying America's this bastion of capitalism, free trade, low taxes and low burden, but look at the size of government. It continues to grow. Taxes continue to rise. And just think about it for a second. In the 18th century, a little sugar tax, a tea tax, a stamp tax caused a revolutionary uproar against the British. That was enough for the...
Yeah, that's the thing, is that caused a massive uproar. And that's the thing, is we kind of went, huh? Yeah. Caused a massive uproar. And that's kind of wild to think that a small tax on something people ate. Yeah.
Straw to break the camel's back. And now in some states, you're getting taxed 50 cents to the dollar. In some cases, higher if you add sales taxes and estate taxes, capital gains taxes, property taxes, corporate
tax on tax on tax on tax. And our founders would have been making a massive stink. Way ago. They would have been doing that decades ago. When it started being a few taxes. Yeah. Our founders were much different than we are.
Taxes, gas taxes, electricity taxes. I mean, there's taxes on freaking everything. And people pretend as if, oh, you know, this is fine. No, it's a slippery slope, folks. And it's a slippery slope that the left is sliding down at record speed. And just understanding, you know, the basic historical.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got taxes on money you spend. You got taxes on just about everything you do. And that is nuts. That is beyond nuts.
Trend of politics swinging left, then swinging right, then swinging left, then swinging right. Well, every time the left attains power, they grow bureaucracy more and more and more. They implement more punitive.
Yes. Every time the left has been in power, they've grown power. They've made things, they've tried to control things to be more and more and more where they were entrenched.
and burdensome policies and taxes and regulations, and it's hard to lift them and go back once they've already been implemented. And so what you're seeing now is a slow march towards socialism, and once that march starts to really speed up into a sprint is exactly now, when this sort of classist, frankly envious and vindictive culture against rich people and the elite starts to take hold, once politics becomes less about what is good policy and more about just demonizing and going after successful and productive people, the rich. That's when you get class warfare. That's what leads to communism. And it appears America is teetering on the edge. At least that's my opinion. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, I'm sorry I did kind of took up a lot of time with getting in those videos and critiquing the heck out of things. That was a bit much, and my apologies on that, and trying to figure out how to share the screen. And yes, I will start to get better about it and actually play what I title. So yes, that was my bad. And oh, this has gone on way long, actually a little longer than I had expected, which surprises me. So I apologize, and I hope it has been an enjoyable stream for a lot, and that you've gotten to know me a bit better. Uh, I do plan to get more into gaming more and doing critiquing these a little less. But yes, or doing critiquing gaming split up various days. But yes, thank you. My bad. I went down here to leave studio instead of in stream. So yeah, so my apologies. But yes, I'm still kind of working on this, so give me a little credit. I'm was using yeah. It's a work in progress. I'm working on it. But yes, see you and have fun. Dang, 3.5 hours.